I guess we'll go with the Suns first. I mean, obviously, no secret, they got rid of Deandre Ayton. They bolstered their, depth chart with Jusuf Nurkic, Grayson Allen, Nassir Little, Keon Johnson. That's four guys who make them a hell of a lot of a stronger team, I think. When you just look at the overall depth, I don't think keeping Ayton was the most sustainable thing for the franchise in terms of winning an NBA championship. But you bring in a guy like Keon Johnson, who obviously this guy was once upon a time labeled a lottery pick. I think he was like the 21st pick or something, but he has a lot of potential still. So does Nassir Little, two building blocks that they can build around. Considering their youth has been put on hold with Ayton leaving and a lot of their other young assets in the past, Jusuf Nurkic, if he can stay healthy, no secret, a playmaking big who can playmake in the post, or he can split to the basket, kick out to open shooters. That is very valuable next to KD, Booker, Bill, Grayson Allen. I like that with the Phoenix Suns. Nassir Little, guy has potential. Only thing is he needs to get that three ball, and I think he cracks that rotation and can be a very valuable piece to the Phoenix Suns. But I wanted to keep mine very brief because I'm keen to hear what you have to say about the Phoenix Suns additions to the squad. Does this make them a better team with the loss of Deandre Ayton?
I do believe so, because I think that although you do lose that athletic 7'1" rim presence, who can block shots, and although he hasn't shown it consistently, he obviously can rim run. He's super athletic, and he's got pretty good touch out to the 3-point line, although not super consistent with it to this point. I still think he's got a bit of that number one pick ego where he sort of feels like he needs to get the ball a lot more than he does, and that's not to say that he doesn't deserve that, but when you got guys like Booker and KD, and then you've also got now Bradley Beal, who's a proven 30-point per game scorer in this league, you're never going to get those touches in that kind of an offense. I think it is probably the best thing that happened for the Suns itself was to, one, build up their bench depth by getting a guy like Grayson Allen, who's a great 3-point shooter, who's, like you mentioned, an energy guy who's, doesn't mind, getting down and dirty. And I think he fits that mold of the Suns' personality at the moment. There's a lot of hated guys on that roster, or guys that you love to hate, I should say, like D-Book and KD, obviously notoriously known for it. And then, Beal. I mean, he's a liked guy, but I think even him now going to the Suns probably puts a bit of that spotlight on him and maybe a bit more of a reason to hate him. So I think Grayson Allen joining that roster kind of just fits him perfectly. But I think, him shooting the ball as well as he has, like a 40% 3-point shooter, and again, the fact that he's athletic and he can defend will definitely help their bench going forward, especially come playoff time. I think you need to be able to bat deep into your bench, as we've seen with the Denver Nuggets and any team that has championship aspirations, like the Miami Heat as well, obviously made the finals, and they obviously had a pretty deep bench themselves. So it's definitely more important for them to build that up than to have those three superstar players or three star players on their team in the starting lineup, because at the end of the day, if you don't have a bench, you can only go so far with that. The only question mark I have with this thing, I think Nurkic, after he broke his leg, which was a shocking injury, he's had struggles staying on the court, and so I think the question mark with Nurk will be, can he obviously stay on the court is the first question. Is he going to be durable enough? And third, is he going to be the same player that he once was? Obviously, he's got a fresh start now with the Suns, and he's not going to be expected to do as much as he did once upon a time, because when he was with Dame, he was playing like the second fiddle, kind of had to be that second option as such. But now having to be maybe the fourth or fifth option on that offense, it's definitely going to help take the pressure off him and go into it with less of expectations. So I think that might make him flourish. He might have a bit of a resurgence for his career. And a fresh start and a fresh environment definitely might invigorate him, especially on a championship contender. So it could go one of two ways. I think it's a low-risk move, but at the end of the day, we're going to have to wait and see, because it's going to all come down to his durability and whether he can stay injury-free and stay on the court as often as we can see him this coming season. So yeah, but I think the moves that the Suns made are definitely going to help them more so than they're going to be of a detriment to them. So yeah, I think the right moves were made definitely on the Suns' behalf here, and yeah, can't say much more than
100%.
that.
I guess the only real question with them is like, you look at their starting five, you could put Booker at the 1, Beal at the 2. I don't know. What do? Do you put KD at the 3? Do you put him at the 4? Jusuf is at the 5. But then there's that one lingering thing where it's like, who will play small forward or who will play starting power forward? No matter where KD starts, if that's at the power forward or small forward position. I mean, I look at their depth chart and I probably slot Eric Gordon at the 3. But I don't know, with Eric not really playing that many valuable... I guess he has, but for the Houston Rockets, like, they haven't been playing winning basketball the past couple seasons. It's like, who starts? Is it Yuta? Is it KD Bates Diop? Is it, like, who? Is it Nassir Little? Probably not.
Maybe a Kogi. Josh Okogie.
I don't know, man. It's...
Because you can look at it like the whole Tabo Cephalosha thing at the OKC Thunder in the early days. Obviously, James Harden was clearly and evidently the better player out of the two at that point in time. But I think arguably Cephalosha was the better defender and the better fit in that starting lineup, because then the other guys around him, Harden, Westbrook, Ibaka, they could carry the scoring load, and then a guy like Cephalosha didn't have to worry about scoring. He could just mainly focus on defending their opponent's best offensive player. And it was the same with like when Andre Roberson was in the lineup. You know, they were wondering why the hell is he in the starting lineup for? He can't shoot threes. But it's the same thing. Josh Okogie, not necessarily known for his offensive prowess, but defensively, he's a really solid player. He's an energy guy, and I think surrounding himself like that, alongside guys like D-Book and KD, Bradley Beal, it might allow then Eric Gordon just to come off the bench, play against the second unit, and really flourish alongside the rest of those guys like Grayson Allen and Nassir Little, etc. So
yeah, 100%. No, it'll be interesting to see what they do because obviously, look, it's a stacked starting 5, but not that the depth chart's like bad, but it's like really odd. Like, they all have potential to be like borderline NBA players, but a lot of them, it's like it's like their last stop type of thing is the Phoenix Suns. Like Yuta, he's a proven NBA player, but like this guy's been out in and out the G League. Same with Metu, same with Drew Eubanks, same with Nassir Little, like Keon Johnson. It's kind of just the trend with their squad. But I mean, that's kind of what you got to do when you need to somehow afford Bill Booker, KD, and even Jusuf Nurkic.